Alright, I'm recording this in early November 2021. So it looks like Andrew Cuomo is facing some misdemeanor charges that he had some sexual misconduct ranging from inappropriate touching to some remarks that he made, among other things, right? Obviously, there's multiple sides to the story. I do want to say that I can't really speak for his sexual conduct, but I do know that he gave me a lot of peace when I was following his attention at, well, the other big story of last year, right? Even though I might not have believed every word that he said, he did give some very good speeches, and I took a lot of inspiration of how to be more persuasive with some subjects that I need to be persuasive about, right? So, I can't really comment on his accusations of his sexual conduct, but he does make a lot of good speeches. Let's do it that way. Now, I do want to say that there is another form of sexual misconduct. Obviously, it's not being conducted by any individual, but it's a collective kind of misconduct that I deal with regularly. So this November 19, I hope to go see a lunar eclipse. And see, in an ideal world, I should be able to go tell my boss that I want to take the 19th off so that I can get some sleep and then go out to Vantage, Washington, where usually that's where you have to go to see these events. November is very brutal for the skies of Seattle. So it would be nice if I could take the 19th off, get some sleep, go there. I would love to tell my other clients, I do a lot of private tutoring, I'd love to tell my clients that I have on the 20th, which is a Saturday, or no, 20th is a Friday. I have a few private clients that can we reschedule or maybe just take that week off, right? I would love to say that, but I know from experience that those are very risky asks to make, right? Especially the private clients. Oh my God, you rock them the wrong way, they're gone, right? Just my own experience. And meanwhile, I see my peers constantly leaving because their family member has an issue. I had a colleague who had a nephew. She needed a niece or a nephew she needed to take care of because her sister had COVID-19, and you got extended family members who were dealing with cancer. Unfortunately, I had another coworker who had breast cancer. It's kind of funny because, okay, I can understand her needing to take time off for breast cancer, but I routinely get flack for wanting to avoid lifestyles to prevent cancer in the first place, right? Try to go to any office and say no to various cancer-causing foods and see if you get the same kind of treatment that somebody who actually has cancer and needs to deal with it gets. Or prevention is definitely not in our top priority. I think that's part of why COVID-19 was such a difficult subject for many people, right? It revolved all around prevention, right? At least at the beginning, right? Now, so I can't ask any of those people. I just have to silently go suffer, come back and work with my private clients. And meanwhile, those same clients, they have some of those kids have multiple tutors, right? The other tutors are cancer, COVID-19, their family needs a ride, whatever. And then I got to fill in all those weird times, right? Sometimes teaching a subject that I've never taught before. I have a funny story, actually. I'm teaching this kid calculus. And one day, my manager says, why don't you teach him biology? Because his other tutor had some kind of family issue, right? Certainly not to go see a lunar eclipse or to go to a computer game conference or a backgammon tournament. He had a family issue. And don't get me wrong, I love the idea of family. I just love that. I just think that everybody has a different human need, right? Don't get too fixated that family is not the only need in the world, right? And I tell my manager, I don't know if biology is the best fit for me, right? It's not my major and I can do it, but I don't want to leave a bad impression. He says, but this kid literally has no other choice. Just do your best. And I didn't want to jeopardize my other work with him, right? And so I do it, and I really struggle. But I get him through it, and at least get him in high spirits. And I thought for sure I had lost him. He was going to fire me from even tutoring him the calculus, right? But to my surprise, I get the best review I ever get after that. See, the kids want to, the parents especially, want to see you working hard, right? They don't just want to see that the kid actually got results, right? You sit there laid back, you're teaching calculus like you're reading a bedtime story, and the parents just feel like, why am I paying $50 an hour for that, right? Sometimes parents can, people in general, Americans in general, have the idea that if I pay money, I want to see you suffer, right? Some Americans do, not everyone. And so, why do I bring this up in relation to sexual harassment? Well, what happens when a lot of people feel this kind of pressure? They want to hook up and get married, right? Even if it never made sense to, right? They're literally being harassed by their peers as a whole, right? Obviously, nobody is individual is harassing one person, but I believe part of the reason why divorce rates are so high in the United States, this is a big reason, right? When I travel to Taiwan, I don't run into this kind of harassment. I really don't. If anything, it's the other way around, right? If somebody sees you in a improper relationship, they sabotage, right? Especially family members, right? I can't tell you how many times my parents, my grandparents, when they disapprove of relationships, they're not shy about it, right? So sexual harassment works in the opposite direction in Taiwan, and as a result, there's like a much lower divorce rate, although it's kind of climbing higher because they're starting to follow a lot of Western behavior, right? Now, go to Eastern Europe, right? Poland, and they have a very relaxed attitude towards sharing compared to the United States, right? People live very closely together right now. Well, they aren't practicing very good social distancing, right? As you can see from the statistics there. But that's it's not specific to this year, right? And so they get to know each other very intimately before any sort of relationship or marriage comes up. So they also have a very low divorce rate. But here in the United States, we have the worst of both worlds, right? We give people pressure, and then we like to set these imaginary lines where people can't grow. Andrew Cuomo was saying that he didn't know the lines had been redrawn. Well, he's a governor, so that's not really a good excuse in my books. But he's right. There's a lot of, at the same time that we give pressure to people to cross these lines, we also set up a lot of lines, right? And don't get me wrong. I like that my colleagues are taking care of their family, but family isn't the only human need out there, right? Anyway, I thought I would point that out. But unfortunately, I find, especially for my private clients, they give me a lot of flack, right? The other day I couldn't get Wi-Fi and I was racing all around town, and I was only 5-10 minutes late to get to my other client, and she just didn't show up, right? She wasn't even patient enough. I texted her saying, I gotta look for a better Wi-Fi connection. She didn't even bother to respond to that. I hope she'll come back to the next tutoring session next week. That's just one of the perils of living alone, right? If I had a partner that I was living with, I might have realized that my Wi-Fi wasn't working before that session came, right? And unfortunately, people seem to, my guess is that she lives with her parents who are happily in a committed marriage, and she doesn't see the other needs of people who are not in the same kind of family structure, right? All right, thought I would point that out. Wish the country well, irrespective of what's going on with Andrew Cuomo, right?